All right, so this is the very first lesson in IM1, lesson 1.1, variables and expressions. So this should be a little bit more review for us. We're just going over some of the basics of some of the pieces for expressions and equations and combining like terms or translating, a written sentence into an algebraic expression or vice versa. So let's go ahead and go over some of the basics here. So first, an expression. So the first part of the notes here say, what is the difference between an expression and an equation? So the very simple answer there is an equal sign. Simply put, an expression does not have an equal sign and an equation does have an equal sign. So if I say 2x plus 3, this is an expression. If I say 2x plus 3 equals 5, now I've created an equation. So it's just the difference between having that equal sign with two sides. So let's go down to the next piece here. So power, that's the next part in this lesson that they want us to understand. So power is an expression, remember we just talked about expressions, with a base and an exponent. Label the parts of the power below. So the entire thing is a power, 2 to the third power. That's how we say that. So this is our base, the 2. This is the base. The big number is called the base, right? The exponent is the little number that's raised up, okay? So that's just the difference between these two pieces. And remember, this does not mean 2 times 3. This is telling me how many times to multiply 2 by itself. So this is telling me I need 2 3 times. 2 times 2 times 2. 2 3 times, not 2 times 3. I know that wording is really close, but it is different. So you just need to pay attention. This is just a way to write repeated multiplication. That's all an exponent represents. Looking at this next piece, translating verbal expressions. So we need to know all these key words that help us understand addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. And there's, some really easy ones like plus would mean addition, subtract obviously would mean subtraction, right? Product is an easy one for multiplication, division like per or quotient. There's quite a few that are pretty easy to identify. What I'm going to do is, and this will be posted in Google Classroom as well, there's this website. It just kind of lists all of these words that we should know, and they're keywords that help us know what operation they're asking us to do. So addition, increased by, more than, combined, together, total of, sum or plus, added to, comparatives like greater than, things like that. And then here's subtraction. So decreased by instead of increased by, minus or less, difference, difference between or difference of, doesn't really matter which one they use there for between or of, less than, fewer than, left, leftover, or after. Save, this is kind of a very old one. I've never actually heard this one used in any modern math book, so we can probably ignore that one. And comparatives, again, just, smaller than instead of greater than. Now we're looking for something that's going down. So hopefully these are a little easier to identify when we look at them. Are we looking at a problem where they're asking us to increase the amount or decrease the amount? Then we can identify addition or subtraction. Multiplication and division, a lot of the time they're going to use of, times, multiplied, product. These are very common words, these first few. Also, each is another one that's pretty common to use. Twice, triple, again, that's if you hear twice the number of or something like that, it means multiply by 2. If you hear triple or 3 times as many, of course they're asking you to multiply by 3. Division, per, that's one that I was saying on the other page. Of, that's another one actually. Depends on how they're using the word of. So usually they'll put it with another word like ratio of, quotient of, but sometimes that lets us know that we're dividing. But a lot of the time they're going to say per or quotient. They're going to give us one of those trigger keywords where we can identify what it belongs to. And then equals, this one's actually not on that notes page that we were just looking at, but it's an important one. Whenever you see the word is, that means equals. So that's an important one to understand. It's usually the word that is used. They'll either usually use is or the word equals. So definitely want to pay attention to those. Again, I'm going to post this one in the Google Classroom along with this notes page just so that it's easy to reference and you can come back to it. But we definitely want to practice these words and understand them because it'll make translating these phrases a lot easier. So I'm going to minimize that and come back over here. And let me scroll down. Well, I didn't want to zoom out. All right, let me like that and just going to scooch up. All right, let's go ahead and look at some of the problems here. So this first one says write a verbal expression for each algebraic expression. So we're just going to practice this idea of writing algebraic expressions, meaning that we have numbers and we're going to write it verbally into words. Okay, so 16u squared, that's how we use that exponent, or we can say raised to the power of 2. You can also say it that way if you want. Minus 3. Is that the only way to say it? No, that's just probably the more common way. It's kind of the, I wouldn't want to say necessarily obvious way to say it, but that's the way that most people would look at that and see that in any mathematical terms. So we have 16u squared, and we might want to put even in here like 16 times, oops, what was I spelling there? Times 16 times the variable u squared. So this is called a little caret. It means insert. So I should have put that in there to begin with. So 16 times, we're telling it that we're multiplying the variable u squared, or I could have said to the raised to the power of 2, either way, minus 3. Oop, I want to write the word 3. 3. So we're just writing out a sentence. How would I say that out loud? And I'm going to write it down. So this would be 1/2, or I could say half of, but I'm going to say 1/2 of the variable a plus, because I have a plus sign here. And remember, this is telling me that I'm multiplying 1/2 and the variable a. So I've dealt with this piece here. Now I have to deal with this piece here, which I believe that says 5/6. So plus 5/6. So you want to make sure you put the THS on there, 6, so that we know that it's a fraction. We don't want to just say 5/6. So 5/6 of, again, this tells me I'm multiplying the variable b. So we have 1/2 of the variable a plus 5/6 of the variable b. All right, so we've written those two out there. The next one says write an algebraic expression for each verbal expression. So they're giving it to us verbally, meaning they're giving us the words, and we need to write the algebraic. We need to write it out in numbers. So the product of, this is a key word. Product means multiply. So again, if I know that makes it very easy for me to go, okay, the product of, I'm multiplying the next things that come into the sentence. So p and 6. So the product of p and 6 is p times 6, or the correct way to write that would be 6p. You just smush them together like that. All right, so we have 1/3 of, this is telling me I'm going to be multiplying. 1/3 means the fraction, 1/3 of, and I can put the little multiplication dot, the area A. So A is an area. Doesn't really matter. That's kind of extra information. I don't really need to know the area, but it's telling me that A is an area for whatever reason in this one. So it's just telling me what it is. But I know it's 1/3 of the area A, which I can just write 1/3 A. I don't really need the little multiplication dot. All right, so that was lesson 1. You're going to go through and complete some homework on Alex now based on these notes. So you can refer back to them if you need to. And we'll move to section 2.